As we get more details, Kirby in the Forgotten Land is starting to look like a true must-have Switch game. But with all the hype surrounding the big new 3D platformer, the fact that this year is the Kirby series' 30th anniversary seems to be getting a little bit lost in the shuffle. Sure, releasing an ambitious new game is a great way to celebrate a big milestone for the character, but will there be any more anniversary celebrations aside from this logo and wallpaper? Today, I want to chronicle the steps on our journey to the Forgotten Land and speculate on what we might see, if anything, to celebrate 30 years of Pink Puff. Let's jump right in. Rumblings of a big new Kirby project started in 2019, as HAL Laboratory was actively recruiting a stronger force of developers who would be fully immersed in creating the next Kirby. This type of mass recruitment doesn't often happen for a Kirby game, so this definitely sparked the rumors that something big might be happening. Fast forward a couple of years of development time, and we finally got our next hint. This was in the form of an interview from the Kirby Star Allies art book that came out in March of 2021. The interview was with Shinya Kumazaki, the director of the Kirby series. Toward the close of the interview, he comments on the state of the Kirby franchise, and gives some interesting info about the series' future. His quote is roughly translated to, "And now finally, we can move on to the next phase. I still try new things at work every day, talking with my colleagues about where to take the Kirby series next. Together with them, even if only to please a single fan, we're planning for the next stage of our future. The team is a culmination of the best aspects of the Kirby franchise, and we hope you'll look forward to what we have coming next." Super exciting, right? He really seemed to be hyping up whatever's next for Kirby here. The sparks that were set in 2019 with the development rumors were starting to become smoke. And when there's smoke, there's fire. With these small gestures, HAL really did leave a trail of breadcrumbs behind for us to follow. And it all led up to the fateful day, Thursday, September 23rd, 2021, just hours before Nintendo Direct was supposed to air, when the release calendar on Nintendo's Japanese website was accidentally updated ahead of time, and a game called Kirby Discovery of the Stars was leaked along with this image, which we're all familiar with at this point, showing Kirby front and center in a kind of post-apocalyptic city. Shortly later, during that same Nintendo Direct, the game as we know it was fully revealed with the localized title Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This was, as we now know it to be, Kirby's first fully 3D platformer, proving this title to be truly the next phase of Kirby that Kumazaki was talking about. In the game's official reveal at the September 2021 Nintendo Direct, we got a good look at some of the 3D open areas, enemies, and copy abilities. Plus, we were introduced to this catchy main theme song. Exciting things were happening on the Kirby front, and we finally had a new title to look forward to. It was given the release window of spring 2022. After the initial reveal, Kirby went silent for a while. Trailer number 2 finally came about 4 months later, releasing in January. This was an amazing trailer that showed off more copy abilities and introduced co-op mode along with Waddle Dee Town. This one really gave me a feel for what the final product was going to be like, and was really the trailer that set my hype for the game to a whole new level. It also gave us the reveal of the Ranger Kirby copy ability, where he now famously gets a gun, as well as the reveal of Meta Knight as a returning character. Trailer 2 ended by giving us our official release date of March 25th, 2022. So with trailer number 2, we finally got our release date, and at this point, we were only just 2 months away from getting our hands on the game. But Nintendo did have some great surprises in store for us in the meantime. Nearly a month later, a February Nintendo Direct was announced to showcase upcoming Switch games, and seeing some kind of new Kirby trailer here was pretty much a shoo-in. Turns out, this was completely correct, and we got a huge info drop with the Mouthful Mode trailer. This all-new 3-minute trailer started out with a cinematic where Kirby sucks up a car and becomes able to take over the car and drive around some of the game's open areas. Then we find out Mouthful Mode is even more versatile, as we see examples of other objects Kirby can make use of, including a light bulb, glider, traffic cone, and even a vending machine, just to name a few. Toward the back half of this trailer, the concept of evolving copy abilities was also introduced. This showed us the shop in Waddle Dee Town that would help Kirby augment and power up his traditional copy abilities, which is super exciting, as this one change seems to add a lot more depth to this gameplay system. And lastly, we got a parting gift at the end of trailer 3 with the tease of King Dedede's return, likely as the game's main antagonist. Since then, we've got a steady rollout of trailers, mainly smaller marketing trailers that reiterate what we already know, but we also got a pretty big overview trailer from March 8th that's a great watch. I want to shout out the reveal of Boss Rush mode here, and this awesome looking new time stop ability, which looks super fun to use while platforming. Are they foreshadowing Breath of the Wild 2 here or something? Jokes aside, these trailers are always great to see. Even though they aren't seemingly giving us too much new information, what they do give us is more Kirby candy to enjoy while we wait for this game to arrive. And that leads me to the main event of this pre-release period, which is definitely making the wait for this game a whole lot more bearable. That is, the free demo that was released on the Nintendo eShop March 3rd. And the demo is amazing. The fact that there is a demo speaks to the idea that Nintendo and HAL are really confident in the quality of the Forgotten Land and its gameplay. People who are on the fence about the game but end up enjoying the free demo will likely purchase it, but those who don't enjoy the demo probably won't end up buying it, which makes total sense. The public reaction to the demo that I've seen has been overwhelmingly positive too. The Forgotten Land needs to pass 5 million in sales to surpass Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy and become the best-selling Kirby game of all time. And I think between the pre-release hype, Nintendo's marketing efforts, and simply just how great the game looks, the Forgotten Land could be on course to smash a record and outsell the Game Boy Classic. The full game releases on March 25th, but that's not the only big date on the calendar coming up for Kirby. April 27th is his anniversary date, as it marks the release of the first game in the series, the aforementioned Kirby's Dream Land. This falls just about a month after the Forgotten Land's release, and we already know some sort of Kirby 30th anniversary celebration plans are in the works. This was already confirmed by official Twitter accounts, and we even have a full logo for the anniversary. Yet, things on the celebration front have been pretty much radio silent, aside from Nintendo releasing a free Kirby 30th anniversary wallpaper for all of us to download. And hey, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the gesture, but where are the variety of projects that Nintendo teased earlier? With the Forgotten Land due to release soon, we don't have much more time where Kirby's going to be in the limelight like this, and it might make sense to announce something for the anniversary sooner rather than later. Maybe an announcement of some sort will come on April 27th, the actual anniversary date, but I'd argue that the hype for Kirby hasn't been as high as it is right now for well over a decade. Because of this, if I had to bet, I think we'll be seeing something anniversary related soon. Whether it be something big like a new game reveal, or just small gestures in the same vein as the wallpaper download we already got is unknown. But to close out this video, I just wanted to go through some possibilities for Kirby projects that we could possibly see announced soon as part of the celebrations for his 30th. One possibility, and probably the most exciting one in my opinion, is the potential for another new Kirby game to be revealed before or shortly after the Forgotten Land's release. Now this does seem a little far-fetched, with our brand new 3D Kirby adventure not even on store shelves yet, but there actually is a little bit of credibility to this idea. As this Twitter user points out, there was a leaked excerpt from a recent issue of Japanese publication Nintendo Dream that teases something really interesting. Roughly translated, it says, "In addition to detailed news about Kirby and the Forgotten Land, we've also included a new game that we didn't expect. I have a feeling that a new title will be announced." This sounds like it could definitely be hinting at a second Kirby video game project to be revealed soon, but unfortunately, this might have been already debunked by a Nintendo Life user who seems to think it's simply a rough translation that's sending us the wrong message. And this excerpt isn't really hinting at a Kirby game, but another series entirely. Either way, in terms of new video games, I don't really see the reveal of a new mainline Kirby 2D or 3D platformer on the cards yet. I don't think we'll see anything like that for a while while after the Forgotten Land. But what I think is more likely, and maybe just as exciting, is the possibility of a Kirby classic game collection, similar to his 20th anniversary Kirby's Dream Collection, which launched on the Nintendo Wii. HAL has already set a precedent that they like to celebrate Kirby's anniversaries by releasing a software collection. So what's stopping them from doing the same a decade later for Kirby's 30th? If we do get a new Dream Collection, I could see it being called something like Kirby's 3D Dream Collection. Creative, right? And containing some of his newer platformers from the Wii and 3DS that have a 3D visual style, like Return to Dreamland on Wii, plus Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot from 3DS. Getting a collection like this would be a fantastic way to celebrate the series' history, and it would be just as cool having all of these titles available to play either on home console or handheld with Nintendo Switch. And if they wanted to go the extra mile, they could even throw in some of the smaller, downloadable Kirby titles like Kirby Fighters 2 and Blowout Blast into the package. If anything like this were to happen, I know this would be a day one buy for me. And a Kirby Anniversary collection is probably my #1 wish for the Puffball's 30th, as it would give me a perfect excuse to check out some of the games of the series past. I have my fingers crossed for this one. A smaller but still nice gesture would be timing the release of Kirby and the Crystal Shards on N64 Nintendo Switch Online with the 30th anniversary. We already know Crystal Shards is coming to NSO at some point, but releasing it on or near the anniversary date of April 27th seems like the perfect window for this N64 platformer to drop on the service. Not only will we be fresh off of playing the Forgotten Land around this time, but it will also be one more thing HAL can use to honor 30 years of its favorite IP. Releasing new software might be my #1 wish for the anniversary, but we can't discount the possibility of some new physical products being released in honor of Kirby's 30th too. The first thing that comes to mind, and something that would line up nicely with what we got for both the Mario and Zelda anniversary celebrations, is a possible release of a limited edition Kirby Game & Watch. I think a little pink Game & Watch handheld makes so much sense here. First of all, Kirby has enough beloved classic 2D games to fill out an awesome collection of games on this thing. Kirby's Dream Land and Kirby Adventure come to mind right away as great adds to a potential Game & Watch. Plus, the thing is going to be cute and pink and double as an alarm clock. Look, I'm no expert, but I think something like this would be a surefire hit with a lot of Kirby fans. Personally, my interest is pretty low on these Game & Watch things, but I think a pink Kirby edition with the right games on it is a good enough idea that it would for sure tempt me to at least think about buying one. And lastly, staying on the hardware front, could we possibly see some Kirby Edition Nintendo Switch Joy-Con? I know we already technically have a pink left Joy-Con, but a specific Kirby pink set with some Kirby detailing on them would look great, and I'm pretty confident they'd become a seriously hot seller. There's always a market for pink. I was looking for a pink Switch Lite as a gift for someone not too long ago and had to pay well over retail price for the coral pink colorway. So if that tells you anything, this is a popular color for video game hardware. If we were getting any sort of Kirby Edition Switch console or Switch Lite, we probably would have heard about it by now. But I think a Joy-Con set releasing shortly after the Forgotten Land is not out of the question. Just last year, the Dialga and Palkia Edition Switch Lite released a couple weeks before Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So the arrival of themed hardware like this doesn't necessarily have to be timed with a software launch. Plus, with the looming anniversary date being a factor for basically the whole month of April, I think the reveal of a fully pink Joy-Con set somewhere in the near future is definitely not out of the realm of possibility. So what do you think? Are you excited for Kirby and the Forgotten Land and Kirby's 30th anniversary? Let me know down in the comments if you're planning to pick up the game and what you think we might see for any potential anniversary celebrations. While we wait for the 25th, make sure to stick with this channel as we'll be talking a lot more about Kirby news as it drops. Keep it here for more quality Nintendo content, and thanks for watching. I'll see you all next week in the Forgotten Land.